dirty. And we do have... Wow!
Oh no!
You gotta be kidding
Oh
me.
my goodness!
For the first time in 3 weeks, somebody else scored pole position. Despite this, the group that looks to be the usual suspects are still in the top positions, and we expect them to fight for the win and possibly avoid the chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 10 of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series. Welcome to the North Carolina Education Lottery 400 at Rockingham Speedway. Hello everybody, my name is Alex Vitale, and as you can see from your screens, Justin Perez will not start on pole position for the 4th time in a row. In fact, if you're asking, he will be starting the race in 30th place, so not a good result in the slightest for the smart driver. Despite this, we still have plenty of drivers that now I guess could be considered the usual suspects. Like for example, we got Gary Moedel in 2nd, then we got Andrew Williams, then we got Avery Alford, Nathan Stapleton, then we got Jeffrey Fingar right there, then we got of course Bryce Egan, and now we got also Bernardo Oliveira, there's Zachary Fitzwater, there's basically what looks to be the group of not the usual suspect, and I guess by this point of the championship, at this point of the season, I guess we could say potential strong candidates for the championship. Of course, one of them will be Jeffrey Fingar and Nathan Stapleton, but for one driver that I would consider a potential favorite is Gary Moedel. Moedel has plenty of 2nd place finishes. He still lacks that win. But I would assume, just like what happened with Fingai, that all he needs is that one win to seriously put his name into their name, should I say, into the serious contenders. And as I've stated, while Perez' pole streak ended at 3. That did not stop Ford's pole streak, because on pole position we got Kyler Sustrai for Solidus Racing. So unfortunately Frank couldn't make it in the booth once again, but I assume he's very happy for this, and of course he's definitely going to hope for a good result for both Sustrai as well as Haley Anderson Jr. But yeah. As for the track itself, we said that during qualifying, Rockingham, a track that is not your usual mile oval. It's actually a little bit longer, just a bit longer than 1 mile. Different bankings from 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, sort of like Darlington, I could say. And of course, the track that leans itself to chaotic racing. Now, I don't expect racing to be a complete and utter wreck fest like Bristol was last week, or Martinsville 3 weeks ago. Well, I'm not gonna count Troy Revere, because Troy Revere was actually a pretty normal race, amazingly enough. But I do expect some chaos, and we did see that taste of that during qualifying, with cars going off the track, as well as that moment that we caught on camera with, I think it was Avery Alford and Carson Miller. Actually, Carson Miller, but it was either Avery Alford or Lana Koshmar. I don't remember, but yeah. So chances are we might see a bit of chaos even here at Rockingham. Not to the extent of Bristol, but probably we could see some chaos. And I guess there's nothing else to be said other than guess what, folks? It's time for racing.
Drivers, start your engines!
The command has been given. These cars will run onto the track any second now. There they are. As for qualifying, as I said, Kyler Sustrai will start in pole position. Alongside him will be Gary Moedel, and then it will be Jonathan Carrison, Andrew Williams, Leonard Koshmar, Avery Alford, Ali Anderson Jr., Nathan Stapleton, Jeffrey Fingai, and Zane Davidson. So, 80 laps ahead of us. Pace car is going to pull into the pits any second now. There it goes. Sustrai and Morbidelli will lead us to the green flag. And green flag is in the air. We're away at the Rock. And Sustrai leads lap number 1, followed by Morbidelli side by side between Harrison and Andrew Williams. That man's right there, but they're pretty much dead even into the main straight, and might look like almost 3 wide as some drivers are going to rush the wall at the exit of 2. And Williams looks like he's going to take the place. No, Williams has the bad exit off of turn 4, and Williams has third place. But Morbidelli, back to the first 2 position, Morbidelli catched up to Sustrai. And, okay, somebody hit the wall. I think that's Anthony Nickel, but no cautions. So, that's actually pretty good. No caution, it was still green. Morbidelli is glued to the rear of Sustrai, but he's not going to try for a move, at least not now. Maybe at the exit of 2 into the backstretch. 3 laps already completed, side by side between Davidson and Bryce Egan as Alpha brushes the wall. Morbidelli stays behind the 21 car. There is Jeffrey Finguy, glued to the rear of Koshmar. Morbidelli still glued to Sustrai, but he's not going to do anything. Side by side between Egan and Lil right there, and Egan is going to win this as Anderson gets overtaken by Crown Jr. and Bernard de Oliveira. There goes Davidson on the inside of Finguy into 3 and 4. Finguy is going to hold on and possibly keep the position on the inside. Yes, he's going to clear the 51 car. You saw there Egan attempt to move on the inside of the 51 car, but no dice. In the meantime, side by side between Crown and De Oliveira, and looks like De Oliveira has this one in the back as Davidson clears Egan out front as De Oliveira goes for the 37 car, and now Crown has to deal with Stapleton. Little goes on the inside to the fan from De Oliveira. Crown goes on the inside of De Oliveira to open an attack. Side by side you saw there between I think that's Finguy and Koshmar as Sustrai has put a bit of a safety gap from Morbidelli. Side by side between now teammates of Koshmar and Egan, because Davidson managed to clear the 99 car as Finguy is still dealing with Harrison due to the rear of that 44 Able Motorsports car, and in the meantime these 2 guys are pulling away from third place and Andrew Williams. Side by side between Little and Koshmar. Egan managed to deal with his teammate. Through goes Little, now he has to deal with De Oliveira. And I think it's a little bit of a smoke, but that's probably just me. As now Finguy goes on the inside of Harrison. A bit of contact into 1 and 2. Harrison and Finguy is going to pretty much barge his way into 4th place. They'll start by saying to the backstretch. As are Egan and Davidson. And Finguy goes through. He's up to 4th place. The defending champion now has Andrew Williams. Quite a bit of distance from the checker flag car, but still. There goes Little on the inside of Harrison, and Little's gonna clear him. As you saw there, oh, Miller's in the pits, so he's definitely, oh, that's gonna cause, that is going to cause problems for Finguy, definitely, by the way he joined in. But Finguy goes on the inside. Every drama. There goes Egan. They make contact with Finguy, but no, but nothing major happened. Finguy clears Miller. Miller goes on the outside to let Egan pass, as well as I would assume Ryan Little. But in the meantime, the situation up front hasn't changed. The Sustrai is still leading from Garmadel. Sustrai has led every single lap, and now he's put a safety gap. And is there caution? Okay, no, never mind. Oh, Egan's in the pit. Alpha's in the pits. But no, is there caution? Oh no, there's no caution. Really? Okay, there's no caution. So Sustrai got something happened. That allows Sustrai to pull a major, almost half a second gap away from Sustrai, as Fengai manages to overtake Williams for third place. And you saw there Ari Alford rejoined the track, as now De Oliveira has to deal with the lap car of Carson Miller, side by side between Crown Jr. and Stapleton. There goes Movidal. There's Alford, so he's a lap down, or maybe several laps down. Let's check it out. Now 1 lap down. Miller is 2 laps down, and which now Jeffrey Fengai has catched up immediately to Garrett. Has pretty much catched up right away to Garrett Movidal. So maybe Fengai is determined to make it 3 out of 4. As now the leading duo now becomes the leading trio. There goes Fengai. He has got a lot of pace on the inside of Movidal. But also has to do with Sustrai, and he's going to make short notice of Movidal, maybe for a double overtake. Okay, that car is fast. There goes Fengai, possibly the first time somebody has seriously challenged Sustrai grasp on the lead, and there goes Jeffrey Fengai into the lead of the race. And now Movidal is going to go on the inside of Sustrai, so maybe tires are already hitting pretty badly. The tire wear is already hitting pretty badly. Through goes Movidal. Sustrai goes down third. Then it will be Williams and Egan. There goes De Oliveira finally dealing with the lap car of Carson Miller. Or at least no. Miller still has the better exit off of 3 and 4. Now the 1 and 2, let's try to say more. De Oliveira still there. Miller that's a lot of space to let De Oliveira through, but no. The 59 car simply cannot pass. In the meantime, we got a battle for 4th place. And as you can see there, Fengai's already pulled half a second from Movidal and Sustrai. Let's see if that gap is going to increase. There goes Egan instead of Williams, but too far away to try for still. So take on the back pressure, maybe on 3 and 4. And Williams is going to pull a safety gap away from this 27 car. So the 82 car is going to defend this. Second is 4th place. As Fengai is absolutely pulling away. So right now the Durrani car of Jeff Fengai is the fastest car on the track right now. Here's the lap car area for dealing with Anthony Nicol. Unless you're the rest of the field, William Ayers and Julius D'Amelio. D'Amelio, the only 5-row car in the race right now. There is Santo Mendoza and Bradley Ream. Santo Mendoza without a sponsor because, as we said in the last race, Greenbridge dropped the sponsor for Mendoza to solely focus on Ari Alford, which makes sense. Of the 2 cars, Alford was clearly the superior one, not just in terms of the championship standings, but also on performances. In the meantime, Carson Miller managed to pull away from the pair of Little and De Oliveira. And that would be pretty, if it wasn't the fact that he's a lap down, that would be pretty impressive. Actually, Miller is trying his hardest to get on, to lap himself, I would assume. Oh, and there goes the caution. And that might be caution. There might be caution. No caution. Okay, no caution. Wow. The PSRLA officials are being pretty lenient today, aren't they? But anyway, no caution. Jeffrey Fengai can continue to lead, and yep, the guy is absolutely blazing fast. Let's see the gap, 1.6 seconds away from Movidal. So right now, okay, we're 22 laps are in the books, but yeah, Fengai is this. I have no idea what Duran engineers put in that car, but it's clearly working. Or should I say more, what did Fengai ate for breakfast? Because wow, he's dominating this race right now. 1.7 seconds from Movidal, as the field is spread pretty much a little bit. And Davidson now is the next victim to deal with Carson Miller, as both Little and De Oliveira finally managed to play with 29 car, as did Robert Brown Jr. As De Oliveira shuts the door on the 37 car. Koshmar goes wide. That's going to allow Stapleton to try and attempt to move. Into the front straight they go. And nope, there's not enough space to try for an overtake. At least for Stapleton on Koshmar, but maybe Koshmar on Davidson could be possible. Let's see, and no, Davidson is going to defend. He goes on the outside. He goes wide off of 3 and 4, and that's going to allow Stapleton through, maybe. And yep, the 79 car, the championship leader clears the 99 car, but Koshmar is not giving in. As you saw there, 2.1 second is the gap between Fengai and Movedal. So right now, at least as of right now, this is Fengai's race to lose. But in the meantime, yeah, actually, by the way they're going, I would assume pit wind. These guys should be hitting pit window relatively soon, because they're taking the tracks with a lot less speed that they are. So those tires are already begging for mercy. As there is Anthony Nickel, the next car on Fengai's crosshairs to be lapped. 27 laps are in the books. Now we got the 28th. Let's check out the rear of the field. There's still the battle between Crown and De Oliveira, and Miller is being more than a nuisance than anything else. And again, this would be impressive for Miller if it wasn't for the fact that he's a lap down, or 2 laps down, should I say more. But anyway, De Oliveira has a safety gap from Crown Jr., so Crown cannot do anything. Neither does Davidson or Stapleton for Davidson. Let's check out the rear of the field. There's Bryce Egan with serious damage to that car because of the contact they had with Miller. There goes Evans with Anderson, and Evans is going to easily respond to the attack attempt from Anderson Jr. In the meantime, there is Fengai's teammate in Zachary Fitzwater, almost called him Zachary Taylor. Sorry about that. But yeah, Charlie Williams Jr. gets the bad exit over 4, so safety gap from Fitzwater. And as you saw there, Fengai has cleared Nickel, and next up is the 2 PS cars of William Ayers and Arby Gardner. And now we got a battle once again for 5th place between Little and De Oliveira. Pretty much those 2 guys have been attached to each other for the entire race. And of course, again, with Miller basically being a cushion between these 2 guys and Roberto Crown Jr. As you can see there, Koshmar tries on the inside of Stapleton. De Oliveira is going to stay behind the 79 car. And Stapleton is going to win this battle against the Koshmar. And maybe actually goes straight for a move on the outside of Davidson. But Davidson is too far away to try. Too far away, so Stapleton has to wait another lap, or at least it feels like it. And okay, yeah, Fengai has gone through William Ayers and now goes through Gardner. So yeah, this car is absolutely on rails right now. Even with used tires, this is basically Fengai's race to lose. As now there is Oskin, another PS car instead of Oskin, Galante Mendoza and Gene D'Amelio. And De Oliveira is still dealing with Miller. Miller is still at this point. The only way these 2 guys can get rid of Miller is if he gave during pit stops. Which at this point I have no idea when the pit window would hit. As now De Oliveira, thanks to the shenanigans of Miller, has put himself in the crosshairs of Crown Jr. But De Oliveira is too far away for a serious attempt. So there it is. As Fengai deals with the 3rd PS car on the grid of Oskin, and now he's going to deal with Mendoza. Easy peasy, I would assume. Yep, easy peasy. Fengai has gone through Mendoza. Now he's got D'Amelio. and the other PS car of Charlie Davenport. There goes Finn guy, Charlie Davenport, who has got on public complaining about the performances of the car as Finn guy goes through D'Amelio. And now there's a battle between Ream and Davenport. As now Movedel has finally cleared Anthony Nickel and now dealing with his manufacturer teammate in William Ayers. And now Carson Miller is now ahead of these two guys, so at least right now there shouldn't be much of a problem. Finally duking it out for what would be fifth place. And I think no, never mind. And speaking of at the rear, there's Fitzwater glued to the rear of Leonard Koshmar, as Stapleton has lost positions to both to Koshmar, Fitzwater, as well as Troy Williams Jr. So he's actually out of the top 10 and now dealing with Bryce Egan. So he's likely struggling with those tires, those old tires. This goes Fitzwater on the side of Koshmar, and Fitzwater looks like he's gonna make it easy for himself. At least then. Fitzwater goes up high, and he's going to clear the 99 car pretty easily. So, Zachary Fitzwater up to the 9th place. As Finn guy continues his unstoppable charge. He goes through Jack Haas, and now he's got Denny Johnson. Then there's Alford. And there's Justin Perez. Justin Perez currently is in 22nd, which is it's at least a decent race list for him. I mean, he's outside the top 20, so not really good. And now they finally hit. Now the pit stop finally hit. You saw there Brown Jr. and Davidson. No, there was Koshmar and Davidson hitting the pits. So these cars can last up to 40 laps. There goes Spiel as well. We're looking at Davidson and Johnson also is in the pits. 4 tires for the 51 car. There's D'Amelio, Davenport, and Mendoza. So basically all the cars that were lapped except for Davidson. Everybody else is pitting. And yeah. Also by the ticker, it's very likely that also the Finn guy pit. And there goes the second group. There's Jeffrey Finn guy. He's out of the pits. We are officially halfway through the race and it's still green flags. We haven't had a single caution. We had 2 crashes, but both of them were not big enough to cause an automatic yellow flag. As Miller is still going on super old tires, but I would assume he would have to pit relatively soon. And no, he keeps going. Miller keeps going. Now, of course, there's gonna be a big mess to understand who's leading what with the cycles. But now, according to the ticket, it should be Movedel leading, but there goes Movedel out of the pits. Now we're looking at Jeffrey Finn guy. Let's see what the ticker is going to say once everybody has cycled out. We're looking at Finn guy, and as he's dealing with Tom Sloan, and the Finn guy is back into the lead. As Skylar Taylor gets out of the pits, and okay, so it will be Finn guy, Movedel, then will be Andrew Williams, then it will be Avery Alford, who managed to get those 2 laps back, so he's back on the lead lap, at least I would assume. Then it will be Ryan Little, then it will be Kyler Sustrai, then Bernardo de Oliveira, then Leonard Koshmar, Rockingham Jr., and Zane Davidson. Rounding up the top 10. There goes de Oliveira on the side of Sustrai. He's going to go for a dive bomb, but he's got Alford ahead of him. Can he still make it clear? And de Oliveira looks like he might actually go for a double overtake on both Sustrai and Alford, being helped by Koshmar. There goes de Oliveira. Dive bomb on 3-4, and he's going to make it stick. As do Koshmar and Crown. Alford taken completely by surprise. Through goes Davidson, through go Troy Williams Jr. as well as Nicole. And now he's getting his Sustrai. So that was an amazing move from Bernardo de Oliveira. Alfred did not expect that. As de Oliveira is now up in 5th place, I would assume. Let's see the next lap. And yeah, he's still in 4th, so... Actually, no, he isn't actually 5th, never mind. 4th is Ryan Little, dealing with a bunch of lap cars in Justin Perez and Bryce Egan. They're also dealing with a bunch of lap cars. And Little deals with Riemann, Miller, and one go. Now he's got to deal with Perez and Egan. Egan with his entire rear panel missing. There's Morbidelli dealt with Taylor and now dealing with Monaco. Actually, where is different thing guy dealing with Danny Johnson? And I would assume so. Yeah, actually, where is Danny Johnson? Danny Johnson is in 22nd. So right now, pretty much. So yeah, I guess this is officially Finguy's race to lose. I mean, okay, we're only 49 laps in. There's still a bunch. There's still 30-something laps left on the track left. But if things stay as they are, Finguy pretty much has this one in the bag. But in the meantime, Morbidelli has dealt with Monaco. Now he's got Charlie Davenport and Bruno Giacomo ahead of him. As there goes Taylor on the inside of Monaco. Now Little is dealing with Justin Perez. Little is dealing with Justin Perez, as you saw there. Williams dealt with Mendoza and Haas. Then there's Carson Miller finally in the pits. I think he managed to extend it up until 50, until lap 50, which that's actually impressive. But again, it would be even more impressive if it wasn't for the fact that he's a lap down. But whatever. In the meantime, de Oliveira is dealing with Samadowski, with 2 teammates off, Samadowski and Arby Gardner. De Oliveira, Samadowski is going to play the 88 car, maybe Gardner as well. On the inside of 1 and 2, he goes. And there we go, de Oliveira goes for Gardner. But in the meantime, I just noticed this. The gap between Finguy and Morbidelli has shrunken down. He was 4 seconds before. Now he was 2.9 seconds. He was 2.7 before this lap. But yeah, looks like that Finguy is dealing with. He's dealing with a lot of lap cars. He's dealing with Duncan Ward, and he's still struggling with Danny Johnson. Then they go and finally the 41 goes for the 70 Toyota. Second, the runner-up at the 2500 earlier in the year. Now he's dealing with Tom Sloan, but also has got Brendan Beal and Joshua Neely to take care of. But still managed to extend the gap to 3 seconds from the Polish driver of Virgil Alonso. And now side by side with Brendan Beal, maybe. Check out one on lap, and still 3 seconds is the gap between Morbidelli and Neely, which is actually impressive considering that right now Morbidelli has clean air, at least a lot more clean air than Finguy has right now. Now Finguy finally deals with Beal. Beal's now dealing with both Reggie Fogelman and Duncan Ward, and now he's got 1 more car to deal with. Actually, no, 2 cars again, because Fogelman is on his inside. So still 2 cars to deal with. Maybe it will become 3 because Duncan Ward does not want to go a lap down. But there you think it is 55 for Cohen car. Now he's still once again 2 cars ahead of him in Fogelman and Neely. There goes Finguy on the 17, but in the meantime, let's check out the real field. There's Morbidelli. Now he's quickly reaching to Charles Davenport. There's Scott Taylor and Carson Miller. And there's Andrew Williams dealing with Eric Monaco. As Little, as you saw there, finally managed to deal with both Jack Haas and Justin Perez. Where is the next driver, Bernardo Oliveira? Then it should be Rockingham Jr., who's got both Hunter Mendoza and Bryce Egan ahead of him. And a car that is definitely on the lead lap, and relatively close is is Clara Koshmar. But again, as I check from the ticker, thanks to all the struggles that Finga has dealt with, now the gap is 1.4 seconds. And now I would assume 1.7 seconds, so yeah, because now Morbidello is not dealing with himself, with the lap cars himself. He dealt with Jolly Davenport, and has got Bruno Di Giacomo. Fogelman is now making the life of Finga any easier, which makes sense. There's a Fogelman is Morbidello's manufacturer teammate, and if I remember correctly, both Appalachia and Czechoslovakia Motorsport have a working relationship, have a working collaboration, not working relationship, but collaboration. So I guess it would make sense for Fogelman to obstaculate, to impede, should I say more, Finga as much as possible can. Now he's got 3 cars ahead of him to deal. But Morbidello only has 2, and now it looks like it could be 4, as Morbidello now sits almost half a second away from the 41 car. Morbidello deals with Di Giacomo. Now he's got Brendan Beal, and pretty much thanks to the lap cars, the gap has been virtually erased. Now there's only Beal as a cushion between these two, and now it's going to be Beal and Neely, a cushion between the Durrani driver and the checkered flag driver. Got Morbidello, who's pretty much, I think, was the driver with the most second places finish at least feels like it. He's pretty much, he himself stated that he's pretty much booked to second. He's pretty much second place booked the entire time. And now let's check the gap on laps in 20 laps to go. Now 19 laps to go. 3,300ths of a second is the gap between the 1 and the 41. But now thing he has to do with Duncan Ward, while Morbidello has to do with Brendan Beal. And Beal, I would assume he's going to try everything that he can to impede Morbidello, because again, for the teammates, not teammates, not owner teammates, but manufacturer teammates. There goes the thing guy instead of Duncan Ward, as does Morbidello on Brendan Beal, being helped by Tom Sloan. Finger goes, he clears Duncan Ward, and now he's got Reggie Fogelman ahead of him. So we might have an interesting scenario in our hands, folks, as Morbidello should be clearing these 7 of Brendan Beal. There he goes. And then let's check the field of Williams dealing with Danny Johnson, Skylar Taylor, and Charlie Davenport, as Little is dealing right now with Johnson. And thanks to the lap cars, here's the thing that currently is not being a thing right now with the leaders. That being Williams catching up, Ryan Little catching up to Andrew Williams. There goes Little on the inside of 1 and 2, and this is for position for 3rd place for the bronze medal. And Williams is down in 4th. Little goes through, but now he has got to do it with Skylar Taylor, as Williams loses position on Perez and Johnson. Now Little has 2 cushions, almost become 3 cushions between 82 and himself, as Williams goes through Danny Johnson. Back in front. Finally, Finn guy has plenty of clean air. He's quite a distance away from Reggie Fogelman. The same cannot be said for Kevin Morbidello, who's 2nd place, but dealing with the lap car of Duncan Ward. And of course, 6.2 is the gap between Gary Morbidello and Ryan Little. So basically, the battle for the win is going to be about these 2 guys and the lead with Morbidello and Finn guy. Of course, providing more shenanigans with the lap cars notwithstanding. 67 laps on the books, and we still do not have a caution, amazingly enough. More lap cars. Little is dealing with Justin Perez, who's now got no more safety cautions, because Williams is right behind them. He was trying to make Perez one of those, but Perez is a bit too far away. Actually, gonna get on a good exit over 4 into the outside, but can he actually make it stick? Ooh, double! He's gonna make it double overtake, but nope, he's not gonna overtake. Perez gets the better exit. He goes through the wall, so it's not gonna happen. Now he's got Davenport. Now he's got Davenport between himself and Williams. And now Fogelman has catched up to Reggie Fogelman with 11 laps to go. And I would assume Finge is going to make short notice of the winner for the winner last week at Bristol. Instead, Morbidelli tried to get rid of Duncan Ward, but never mind. He couldn't do it. There goes Finge on the inside of Fogelman. 10 laps to go here at Rockingham. So 2.8 seconds, almost 3 seconds is the gap between the 41 and the 1. There goes Morbidelli on the side of Ward. Can he finally clear the 51 Dracoan car? Yes, he does. Gary Morbidelli now has got nothing between himself and Finge, at least for now. 9 laps to go. Fogelman is not making the life of Finge any easier. And that might allow Morbidelli to catch up. Of course, there's plenty more cars on the... Let's see, is D'Amelio and Koshmar for position? No, never mind. No, actually, okay, no, never mind. Okay, Koshmar is in 8th, D'Amelio is last. Never mind. But anyway, back up front. Fogelman is still dealing with Fogelman is still holding Jeffrey Finge out. And now Finge has to deal with 2 lap cars and also in another Chevrolet in William Ayers. 2.6 seconds is the gap between himself and the checker flag car. Finge is still gonna find a way to overtake the Bristol winner. Lap number 73 is in the book, lap number 74, and the gap is, despite this, it's still growing. It's growing. 2.8 seconds is the gap between these 2 drivers, and of course there's 6 seconds between Morbidelli and Ryan Little in 3rd place. As Fogelman goes on the inside of Ayers, that's going to allow Finge through the PS car of Ayers. Like I said, into 1 and 2, 6 laps to go. And finally he clears 1 lap car, but he's still got Fogelman ahead of him. 2.4 seconds is the gap. And now Morbidelli has to pray that Fogelman slows Finge down to a crawl because time is running out. And now Fogelman has a safety gap, and that's exactly what Finge wants. Some clean air between himself and Fogelman. That's exactly what Finge needs. 2 laps to go. 2.5 seconds. Sorry, it's 5 laps to go. 2.5 second gap from these 2. And now Andrew Williams has overtaken Brian Little. They're still side by side into the backstretch. Little has the advantage. Can he clear the 2 car? Yes, he does. I think Williams now has to deal with the lap car of Blaine Keys. And now he's got Samaralskin. Yeah, Fingers in the game is not having an easy time with lap cars, but now he's dealing with Samaralskin. But right now he has a cushion in William Ayers, so everything should be fine, at least for now. 3 laps to go. I think through goes Oskan and Mendoza. So now he's got 3 cars between himself and the checker flag car, and at this point, with 2 laps to go, coming to the line with 2 laps to go, I would assume Finge pretty much has this one in the bag. 2 laps to go as the 2 teammates battle for what I assume would be position. No, actually, no, never mind. No, battle for position, actually, never mind. They were battle for position, but of course for the rear field. As Jeffrey Finge goes through 3 and 4 and into the main straight, still dealing with Reggie Fogelman to take the white flag. 1 lap to go for Jeffrey Finge. as he goes on the inside of Fogelman. Finally, Fogelman should leave him the space he needed, but the space, well, he doesn't exactly need, but still would appreciate. Into 3 and 4. Can he clear the 95 car? Doesn't look like it. No, he can clear it, and no, he's not gonna clear it, but it doesn't matter. Jeffrey Finn guy makes it 3 out of 4. He wins the North Carolina Education Lottery 400. Guillermo Vidal will finish in 2nd place. 3rd is going to be Ryan Little. Then 4th will be Andrew Williams. Bernardo de Oliveira will finish in 5th. Then will be Roberto Crown Jr. Quarterback in 6th. Then Troy Williams Jr. in 6th. Leonard Koshmar in 7th. Zane Davidson in 9th. And Philip Torres finally scoring a top 10. Finishes in 10th. But yeah. Now, not exactly the most exciting race, but it doesn't matter, especially for Jeffrey Finn guy. And as we said, Jeffrey Finn guy will win the North Carolina Education Lottery 400. The second will be his 3rd win of the season. So he becomes the first free win for the first 2. Pretty much now with that, he's officially put his name into championship contention with this. That will be Gary Modell in 2nd, Ryan Little in 3rd. A great result from Ryan Little. That will be Andrew Williams, Bernardo Oliveira, Roberto Crown Jr., Troy Williams Jr., Lana Koshman, Zane Davidson, and Philip Torres rounding up the top 10. And only 16 cars finished on the lead lap, just to show how dominant Finn guy was. Then Hunter Mendoza, William Ayers, Sam Alaska, and Ari Alford will be 2 laps down, and Carson Miller 4 laps down in last place. And amazingly enough, no DNFs as well as no caution. So yeah, this was a really interesting race. Now, it lacked on track action, but as I said plenty of times even during the Grand National Series days, there are, of course, not every race needs to be a banger. Not every race is going to be a complete another banger, but it doesn't have to be. So yeah, and as we stated, the race might not be super exciting, but it was super important because now with this, as I stated, Jeffrey Finn guy has officially put his name back into championship contention. He's put his name in championship contention, should I say more. And Guillermo Vidal, once again, yet another 2nd place finish for the checkered flag driver. So, of course, at this point, the win is just a matter of time. It'll be a matter of when, not if he will win, because as you saw, he has the pace. He just needs to pull it together just a little bit to make it work in cross victory lane. But yeah, still great result from Vidal, and again, might as well ever. So yeah, there's pretty much nothing else to be said other than I guess it's time to check out the championship standings. And we're back live here at the Rockingham Speedway for the North Carolina Education Lottery 400 that has just finished. As for the championship standings, Nathan Stapleton will leave North Carolina. We're still in the lead now, and now Roberto Crown Jr. will be in 2nd place, 19 points behind. Zane Davidson loses a place and now drops down to 3rd, 21 points behind. Then will be Andrew Williams, Gary Movidell, Jeffrey Finn guy, who gains another position and now is in 6th. Troy Williams Jr. will be in 7th. Tom Sloan, Philip Torres, and Ryan Little rounding up the top 10. The biggest jumper being Bernardo Oliveira, who's now is in 14th, and the biggest loser being Bryce Egan, who loses 4 places, and he goes down in 18th place. So, what else can be said about the race that hasn't been said? Pretty much nothing. I mean, again, this race severely lacked on the action. It was more on the, it wasn't. The action, there was action, but it was more about the lead drivers dealing with the lap cars rather than the lead cars versus lead car, and of course a battle for the lead. But again, as I've stated, there's not every race needs to be a banger, and every race at the end of the day is super important. And yeah, so and I know this race is pretty much can be considered boring, but of course Finga is not gonna care. I mean, he's won free, so he's not gonna care one single bit, and so yeah, this is pretty much everything that can be said about the race in general. Severe lack on the action, but it's still super important nonetheless. But with that, we're pretty much exhausted all the topics, and if you missed the chaos of the last 3 weeks, guess what? Next week we're going to Talladega. So yeah, chances are all the chaos that was missed here is probably going to happen there at Talladega, because for obvious reasons. But of course we will get there when we get there. But anyway, this has been a special presentation of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series 44 Resident Network. I'm Alexis Vitale, and join us next time for round 11 of the championship at Talladega Super Speedway. So long, everybody, from Rockingham. Congratulations again to Jeffrey Fingai.